Hello guys and welcome back to Supreme Ruler Ultimate, the 5th episode here in the series, I think. In the last episode, a lot of things happened, but one very important thing happened. Dema started making a huge, industrial effort in his nation that has started to run the world markets dry of goods, run his treasury dry of anything, start to ramp up his inflation and drop his unemployment, and it's looking really unsustainable. So that's what we're going to be tackling today in this episode. It's a pretty huge mistake to make, I think, but you never know what could happen. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and yeah.
See, what I'm doing is I'm going to capitalize on the World War by having quite a bit of military production things.
But here's my question. Why didn't you start by making, say, industrial goods factories, waiting for those to finish, and then making some military goods factories? I mean, for one, you know that it requires industrial goods to make military goods, right? And I don't just mean the facilities. Like, if you look at military goods, one of the required things that you need, where's the consumption, military goods, requires industry goods. Consumer goods requires it too, but raw materials, industrial goods. With only 8 factories, I'm consuming 125 industry goods by making military goods. You're making a lot more than I am. I really don't think you're going to be able to support most of what you're doing. I've seen you make this mistake several times in other playthroughs. Yeah, there's literally not enough industrial goods in the world to fund all the building that you're trying to do.
Yeah, it was working for a little while, but then I saw that the world was like, yeah, we're out completely.
Because I'm one of the only exporters, and I'm only making 5k more than I'm using. You're using probably dozens of thousands on all those factories. That's why when I made a military factory, you know how many I made? I made 1. I made 1. I'm gonna make another one. You know, actually, game, I'm gonna tell you this right now. That is probably the worst place for you to suggest to put a military goods factory, because that is not where my loyalty is. So I'm gonna go manually place this, because the AI is a dum-dum. I could put one in Berkeley. Or any old town, really. Probably spread a lot of it out. Let's put a military goods right outside Denver in this small village. Bring some jobs over here. Give that time to build. That'll also give me a good idea of how my inflation's doing as a whole. If making one of these very expensive factories is gonna tip it a bit. Now, if you were going to make as many factories as you started making, by the way, Demi, you should have done the mid-factories. But even then, there would have been no point. Just do, for every 10 factories you wanted to make, just make 1 of the big ones, and you're good. The world's trying to sell me metal ore, and I don't know why.
I technically only set up to build, 30 to 40 of each.
That is way too much. Why would you do that? Again, I have 8. I have, the most production in the entire world. I think I still do. No, I don't. Anyway, Italy actually does. But Italy probably only has, 10. I'm gonna go look how much Italy has. They probably have mid stuff, too. Now that I think about it. Whole world's going crazy. Iraq already had another coup d'etat. That was quick. But yeah, 30 of each, that is insane. That is the craziest shit I've ever heard of. I don't know why you tried doing something like that. That's excessive. And you know the best part is, once they're actually built, you are going to have such bad inflation problems until you take over China. Because you don't have the workforce to man that many factories. That's insane. Absolutely. Only China could maybe get away with something like that. not Japan.
I mean, I could just annex Japanese Manchukuo.
That's not going to solve all your problems.
And that will help mitigate.
Once you finish all these factories, that's not going to solve all your problems. 50 million more people. You're creating a lot of jobs, probably without the space. When you make factories, you make a couple at a time. Not nearly 100. You should know this by now. You've had dozens of hours of practice. You've made this mistake several times. No wonder so many people are coming to me for industry goods, because you're buying all the industry goods in the market. Nobody has the production to make stuff they want to make, and nobody has the exports to fuel everyone's production. Especially because you are like more than half the world's usage right now. You're using over 50,000 tons right now, was your last day trade. Over 50,000 tons. All the rest of the countries in the world combined aren't using, like, oh, you're up to 52,500. I wonder how much you actually need. I wonder how many tens of thousands of tons you actually need. Probably a lot more than that. Probably like at least 100,000, if not more.
I mean, I think it was like 126,000 tons.
Yeah, the world's not even using 1% of what you're trying to use. I hope that puts into perspective how crazy you are. Oh my god! I just got a positive random event? The percentage of waste petroleum from our refineries was much less than expected. Upon adjustment, the new production numbers, our petroleum inventory has increased by like 2 million barrels. These can be good? These can have positive effects? I'd still probably turn them off now that I see what they are, but... so cool. Everybody's coming to me for industry goods. You're destroying an entire world market. And your treasury. That's wonderful.
It's only short term.
Yeah. Until the factories finish and your inflation goes up to 20-something%. It's already nearing 10. Oh, dude, I want to know what this is going to do to your raw resources. Because not only this is going to spike usage of industrial goods, it's going to spike usage of electric power, metal ore, petroleum, rubber. What else? More petroleum, electric power, metal ore, coal. And then also more coal because you're making coal plants. I can't wait to see how you're going to destroy this country. It's amazing to watch from the outside. It's amazing. I'm having so much fun. We had such long silence while we were just building stuff, and I just assumed everything was going well. Loan in arrears. You're missing payments to Switzerland now. Oh, this is great. This is awesome. I love this. Oh, fuck. I went ahead and made treaties with, like, all of my colonies to make them love me. I gave some of them some money.
Trust me, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not the one that has to technically deal with it. I'm just going to make extra profits off of industry goods, being the world's, like, top exporter. I'm the top producer. This is... yeah. Give me your money. I'll take it. Keep driving up that price. Maybe I'll start investing more heavily into industry goods once I have my own military goods production increased. I want to have 10 factories. I'm only building one right now. When that's done, I'll probably go ahead and build another. Because I want to keep inflation not rising.
Oh, crap.
What did you do?
Think I got rid of a port that was here?
What? Where? What?
Matsuyama? It's that little islandish thing inside that looks like mini Australia.
Looks like mini Australia. Matsuyama?
Yeah, I think there's a seaport there.
You think? But either way, you're gonna make a new one, right?
Yeah, but I'm also doing something else. And I think you can tell what I'm doing.
I hope it's not a bunch more coal plants. The last thing you need right now is to fucking make more things.
I mean,
I love how you have coal plants starting to build on this island, while you have paused coal plants that are further into the production. Instead of resuming those, you're just like, I'm gonna build new ones. I'm just gonna start new. You're like China, just starting construction projects all over the place. Except, unlike China, you don't have the resources to do what you're doing. I'm gonna disable one more aircraft production, and I'm gonna disable 2 land production. Yes, and now the UK can have the mill cap penalties. And Italy can have the other one. And now, slowly but surely, people will start to like me again. My military will produce a little slower, but it's fine. I mainly took it out of air because it's not as necessary, seeing as where I am. What I really need is land and navy, not air. So now I have 8 land, 8 navy, 2 air. That's fine. Turning those off will also help my inflation. So, you know, everybody wins.
well, it shouldn't be destroyed for 2.
What, have you paused a bunch of constructions or something? I'm not seeing if you have. From what I'm seeing, it's still going to be destroyed for a good long time.
Nah, that should be fine.
No, you're still producing a lot. It's going to stay destroyed for a good long time.
You might want to check again shortly.
Oh, now are you pausing stuff?
Not necessarily pausing.
No, let me guess. You're just finding places to make even... Oh, you canceled a couple coal plants, I see. Oh, no, you're just deconstructing some coal plants. Oh, you're canceling coal plants. That helps. Coal plants aren't the biggest of your problems, though. Coal plants are like the least expensive thing that you're making. It's all those military goods factories.
What I'm doing.
Are you canceling a bunch of the militaries? This is like a business venture gone wrong. Your inflation's up to 9.3%. Unemployment's up to 3.6%. If you actually continued on this route and I didn't really start yelling at you about it, your unemployment probably would have gone down to 2% or lower. Inflation would have skyrocketed just straight up into hyperinflation. Quite honestly, this is the worst economic move you've ever done in this game. Everything you did in India, both as the UK and as India, was better than this. As in less harmful. I have 10 times more money than Germany has. And they're the second richest. That's why I'm just buying texts that I see and sending them to you. Because I could try to tech carry. Hitler and Mussolini meet in Munich. Goddamn fascists making world fucking headlines and shit. I think I may go ahead and change my capital city again and put it somewhere that's safer in the country. Since I didn't bother turning on fixed capitals and I can literally place it wherever I want. Where's that one place I put it last time? It was like Manhattan, but it was in the middle of the country. There's Kansas City.
Didn't you put it in Denver?
I put it in a city named Manhattan that was in the middle of the country. I found it. I found Manhattan. Nearly at the center of the country-ish, something like that. It's just a little teeny tiny town that doesn't even have a road going to it. This is going to be my new capital city. There you go. Capital moved. And just like that, the fucking White House is here. Just like that. There's a military complex outside with a barracks. That's a thing. Now, for people watching, the reason to do this is, like, the AI is not smart enough to do this. The AI never does this. But, basically, when your capital gets taken over, you actually lose a bunch of your resources and your treasury. By default, capitals are not fixed. I never really thought of making them fixed, since that's the default way to play. So, and there's no negative, like, consequence to actually moving your capital. So, I just went ahead here, and instead of Washington, D.C., right here being my capital, now it's Manhattan. Not New York Manhattan, but some random Manhattan in the middle of the country. Because now, if anyone wants to take my capital and hurt my treasury and resources and all that shit, they have to come right here. And technically speaking, if they get close to my capital, I could just change it again. It's a weird thing to be default. When it's fixed, you actually have to wait till it's taken over before you can change it again. But then that stops you from saying, oh, you know, I just took all this over. Maybe I need a new capital to, whatchamacallit, to signify the new territory. I don't know. I don't know if I like having it on or off. I've never decided. It's going to be on for this playthrough. But maybe in future playthroughs we'll turn it off. The UK now has 20 facilities. And I'm sitting here with 18, so I can re-enable one of mine without anything to worry about there. I'm going to re-enable one of my land facilities, because they are the more important ones. I feel like I might as well build a bridge onto Manhattan, maybe connect it with this stuff over here. But I feel like the road coming near it is good enough. It's at a very interesting place. It's like it's on like a river. Yeah, it's on a narrow river tile. Which technically should make it kind of easier to defend. I love how Washington, D.C. though keeps its tourist attraction. You can't build more of these without changing certain things. I feel like that should move with the capital itself, but it's okay. It's like a historic tourist attraction. Totally not being a little gamey here, but it's fine. Plus, look, now we get the star in the United States right in the center. It makes so much more sense. Two new planes, the Tomahawk or the Demon. Tomahawk or Demon. These are interceptors. Tomahawk is going to be better at its direct job. If you go a little further, it's a little cheaper, but it's more military goods to make. Its defense is a little better overall. Cheaper to make in general, but except for the military goods. Oh, we'll go with the Tomahawk. I don't need any demons in my life. Let's go for tactical bombers. Ooh, well, we're gonna need the Dauntless, that's for sure. The Maryland or the Nomad. These are kind of steps. Because one needs attack and one doesn't. Guess I'll get both. Multi-roll, the Wildcat. Sure, let's get it. The Kingfisher. I don't think we need this. We don't need this. I don't want this. New transport planes. Oh boy. Well, the Skymaster has the most capacity. It goes 3K. That's not as much as the Commando, which transports about half as much. It's cheaper. Similar defense values. Fuck. This uses less fuel. Needs more military goods. Costs more. I'm just gonna go with the Skymaster and say fuck it to the rest of this. Leave the Commando there, maybe, just for now. Research breakthrough, yay! Oh yes, the BB-61 Iowa. This ship is literally so good that usually I keep using it into like the 1960s is how good this ship is. So I know I want this ship. Its defense ratings and its ship damage value and how far it can move are just so fucking good that I pretty much almost never replace it until the next Iowa comes up in like the 60s. So that's going to be a priority right here. So I'm going to get that. It's a 43 ship, but it's going to make all the other ships basically irrelevant. It can't hit subs, that's probably its biggest weakness, but every other way it's amazing. Support it with escorts or other things and it's fine. A lot of these other things can't even support escorts. Get rid of all of those. This is going to be our main battleship. Escorts! Almost definitely. I believe I usually pick the Fletcher. Yes, I believe I usually pick the Fletcher. It's the most expensive option, but it's the best option. Torpedo boat. No. What's this? You want my sub-research performance thing. Okay. You're welcome. Let's see. Sloop gun boat. Probably not going to use this, so let's get rid of that. Anti-sub patrol or Fairville BPC. Probably this right here. Fairmill. I don't even know what I said before. Might just get both. I think I'll get both. Large Civ cargo. This would be nice. Big annual maintenance. Oh, because it's so tanky. It's got high reaction time. 100 and... Oh my god. Wow. That's really good. Definitely gotta get that. Got those Cimarrons. I really just want to call this a Cinnabon. We're starting to amass plane blueprints. Well, we have the P-35 now. That's great. So we can get rid of this F3F shit. We could come over here and cancel every F3F that we're making. Including these two that are currently making. Because now that we have P-35s, F3Fs are irrelevant. We still need an interceptor that can go on carriers. That is better than this, so for now we'll keep this. As for this stuff, though... We're not going to care about the Helldiver. Let's get rid of it. The Vindicator, the BT-1. These are both carriers. We're going to get rid of the BT-1, I guess. Sure, get rid of the BT-1. Focus on Vindicators and Nomads. I've lowered family subsidies a lot, and my birth rate is still, like, through the roof. I'm rather impressed.
I learned something interesting about that, and it's a weird metric.
What do you mean?
You don't have to have all those 100% to get decent rates.
I know that.
You just need to keep them around 80%.
The most efficient percentage is about 100%. Family subsidy usually is a thing that I've tried to, I don't know. I've fucked with family subsidy a lot, but I've never had this good of a result on my birth to death rate with family subsidies not being basically maxed out, which is just why I'm surprised.
Because I have, let me see, I have my healthcare at 101%, technically. Education's at 81%. Infrastructure 68%. Environment's at 100%.
I make like 99% to 100% my goal, essentially.
Family subsidy is 93. Law enforcement's 100. Culture subsidies 95%. And social assistance, I could raise that.
Oh, I hate social assistance so much.
I had that 54%.
I like to leave that off a lot of the time just because if your inflation is actually at a good rate, that means your unemployment's probably pretty high. And then social assistance makes you dish out money like no tomorrow, which raises your inflation. When your inflation's already super high and your unemployment's super low, then it costs almost nothing, and it's a great thing to make your people happy. But you gotta manage it based on what you want, what you need, how much money you want to dish out, and how you want to control your inflation.
Well, I think around 3.4% unemployment, that's a decent metric to keep it like around 50-ish%.
I like to focus on my inflation more than I like to focus on my unemployment. If my unemployment goes up to like, I don't know, 5% because I'm keeping my inflation good, that's fine by me. Lower inflation is healthier than higher unemployment. And you can never have both. At least not in this game. In real life, you tend to not be able to have both in most situations as well. It's really hard to manage.
In social assistance, I'm spending $2 million, and it's recommending $3 million.
That number will go up and up and up once your inflation gets lower, though.
So I try to keep it around 65 to, basically 2/3 to 3/4, what they recommend.
My military goods facility finished, so I'm going to build another one. I just want to get the number up to 10, essentially. Because my actual usage is like at 312 tons. A lot of the time, around 300 tons, but my production is like 100 lower. The main reason I think it's not overwhelming me is just because I'm doing arms race. So for everything I'm building, I'm dismantling older shit. But sometimes it'll rise and sometimes it'll drop. I just basically gotta keep it sustainable. So I'm slowly making more military goods. Slowly, 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 slowly. That's the key here, slowly. I'm not rushing to make more rubber right now. I have enough for myself and then some to export, and I'm good with that. The only thing I really have to worry about now is military goods, because when war starts, like big war, if I get into a big war, it's going to consume a lot of that. Once this is at a good part...
Do you have a mutual defense with Italy?
No.
They were asking one from me.
Yeah, that's because of the whole Axis stuff. You're going to get asked by Germany and Italy for stuff like that. Don't do it unless you want to get involved in World War II on the side of the Axis.
I basically said no to both.
Yeah, don't do it unless you want to get involved on the side of the Axis. I could get like free trade and shit with Italy. Probably not going to do it.
So let's see.
I don't know, they kind of like me. They'll probably end up dead or something, I imagine. I don't know, I just don't see that Italy and Germany stand too much of a chance here, but I could be proven wrong. Ahistorical things can happen.
Alright, well, it's time for me to start increasing my casus belli against China and deploy my troops.
Ooh, the war against China's coming, huh?
Now, insurgency doesn't do anything good for me, right?
It does, actually. Insurgency lowers their military approval rating. The lower that is, the lower their unit morale is, meaning the faster and more efficiently you will cut through their troops, the less damage they'll be able to do to you. In wars against targets that you're not sure if you can win against, being able to sustain insurgency is incredibly important. It's even more important when fighting dictatorships, because that's their equivalent of domestic approval as well. Because they can have a coup d'etat when it's super low. Boy, is it expensive to do against China. Of course it is, they have so many people.
I think Yugoslavia has a spy in Japanese Manchukuo.
Maybe.
Can you see into Jinzhou?
Yes, I see that. There's definitely a spy there. And that is not Yugoslavia. That shouldn't be Yugoslavia. That's not the same flag. The flag over there is Yugoslavia's flag, but upside down.
Yeah, I got it reversed. It's the Netherlands, actually.
Why are their flags the same, but upside down? What the fuck? I'm actually making some friendship treaties with Netherlands because they're one of the... They're someone that tends to stay neutral. Also, making friendship treaties in general is good. It helps things like how the world market sees you. It helps your subsidy rate. It helps make sure your treaty integrity can recover, things like that. I might try to make friends with both them and Belgium, because I don't think either of them are going to get involved in the war, unless something ahistorical happens, and they don't hate me, so that's always good.